People always ask how I balance my family life with 400 shows a year. I'm just doing what I love with the people I love. It's my magic life.
I like Wes Iseli. I like everything about him.
All right, here we are. We're back. We have a good friend of mine, Doc Dixon, a Fool Us winner, an all-around great guy. He's also an amazing comedy magician. And the lines and the stuff that this guy comes up with, not only in magic, but I'm talking about just the stuff that comes off the top of his head. The dude is funny. I love every time being around him. Every time I get on the phone with him, he has to hang up the phone call because I don't want to get off the phone with him. I'm having a blast. But everybody, it's Doc Dixon. Woo! Woohoo! What's up, Doc?
I feel so much pressure now.
No.
You have to be funny.
Well, you are funny. It's natural to you, man. You don't have to work at it at all.
And you got it wrong. It's not Doc Dixon Fool Us winner. It's fellow Fool Us winner.
That sounds good, doesn't it? That just gave me goosebumps. Good gosh.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet, isn't it?
It is. It really is. So, how's everything going, man? Good?
Well, yeah, it's as good as can be expected. No complaints. I got a haircut today. It's always very exciting.
Okay, all right. Good job.
During the Rona times, there's a new barber. No joke. She says, "Well, how's it look?" I go, "Well, the hair looks great, but the face needs some work." And she says to me, "Oh, you can't improve on perfection." I thought, good barber.
You'll be going back there.
Skills and the people skills, indulging middle-aged, frail egos.
That's awesome. That's awesome. See, I have my wife cutting my hair, and she's like, "You're done, honey. How's it look? Just go take a shower. You're done."
There's hair all over the ground.
No, we don't have a Floby. She just, I was actually getting my hair cut, and back when we first got married, we didn't have a lot of money, and I was getting my hair cut every other week. And my barber, my hairdresser, my hair cutting lady, she said, "What would you do to your hair? Natalie could do it in like 2 minutes. It wouldn't take her anything."
She lies.
And then I said, "Okay." And I liked the lady, but the problem was I like to get a haircut at 9 a.m. as soon as the lady woke up in the morning, and she didn't like getting to the barber shop that early. So she was ready to get rid of me as a customer because I wanted to be an early riser. So anyway, Natalie cuts my hair now. So if it looks funky, she's the one that does it.
Well, I got more than a few years on you, and as the hair thins, it calls for more of a tactical approach.
Yeah, well.
It's like, wait. Hair 17J is out of place.
That's funny. See what I mean, guys? The dude's funny. Doc, how'd you get started in magic, man? Let's get this interview started. How'd you get started in magic?
Sure. I guess like a lot of guys, the twin factors of the magic kit as a kid, the Marshall Brodeen TV magic kit, and books. I had the Amateur Magician's Handbook, which a ton of guys of my generation, that's what started us off, because that book, for your non-magician listeners, that's one of the few books you can buy in a normal bookstore, non-magic shop sort of thing, that has some sleight of hand in it, so something to sink your teeth into, get some traction with you as opposed to a bunch of easy to learn tricks.
And it still holds up.
Practice. And I also got the Scarnion card tricks book.
Wow.
Which, for non-magicians, Scarnion was a big card sleight of hand guy from like the 1930s to his passing in the 80s, and he was the hands of Paul Newman in the card cheating scene in the movie The Sting. So he's a heavy hitter. But this book, Scarnion Card Tricks, was a bunch of mathematical card tricks, and I think I had it when I was 10 years old. And I was a reasonably bright kid, but having me do mathematical card tricks was probably not the best thing. And I can vividly remember bathroom door, and I'm shoving cards underneath the door. Mom, is this it?
You know, that's my parents got berated with card tricks as well.
That sounds about right.
I mean, you got to practice on somebody, man. Then it becomes your wife when you get married.
Yeah, I have not taken it. Rarely do I show my wife a trick.
Oh, you're not shoving cards under the bathroom door for her?
Oh, no. Well, that probably wouldn't bother her as much because growing up, I was the youngest. I got a brother who's 7 or 8 years older and a sister who's 7 or 8 years older than him. It was just 3 of us. But we have 7 kids, including 6 boys at home.
Oh, my.
So I think she's had enough people banging on the door. I'd probably be taking my life into my hands. I were to shove cards under the door. Yeah.
Oh, my. Yeah, she's probably bothered enough. She needs a moment of peace.
When she does watch tricks, and I know Wes and I have spoken about this, that I'll see some trick, see some guy do some trick, and I think it's really cool, and I'll show it to her, video, online, and she'll go, "Are you serious? Why are you showing me this?" And things which I, as a magician, take for granted, she will just say to me, "Why is his hand that way?"
Wow.
Yeah.
The guy, and she's right. The guy's palming something, holding out whatever a coin, a prop is, and things as magicians, or my head, I just kind of excuse because I'm not thinking the way I should be. She points out kind of the the emperor has no clothes kind of thing.
Right.
You're following all the misdirection. You're going for the ride, and she's looking at it and nailing every aspect of it.
Yeah, and it's not so much that I'm fooled by it and follow the misdirection that way. I'm excusing it when I shouldn't.
Yeah.
And she called the term we use is that guy has magic hands.
Well, so tell me about 7 kids, 6 at home?
6 at home, yeah. 6 boys, current ages 5 to 14.
Wow. There's never a dull moment at your house.
No, which I want to say this earlier. If you hear noises in the background, that's that. They've been told to keep it down a little. Daddy's on the phone.
Well, we understand. It's not a big deal.
We got 3-month-old in the other room, man. We totally get it. We totally get it. So, as I told you yesterday, 7 kids. The first thing that pops into my mind is my dad's voice. 7 kids. Does that guy not have cable TV?
Yeah. I think, well, yeah. In our case, it kind of takes the thunder out of that joke. In our case, all of our sons came to us through adoption.
Wow.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. It's funny. I'll talk about that in my shows sometimes. And basically up front, I'll tell jokes about just having this many kids and all the things that go into that. And at the end, I just started doing this many years ago because I thought, if there's someone in the audience, I don't know who the audience is. Maybe there's someone there that's considering adoption. Well, seeing a guy who's relatively normal, who's done it a bunch of times, it may, push them a little in that direction. I just mentioned it. But then, I realized quickly as an entertainer, I'm not up there to have a soapbox. Even a soapbox is acceptable as that. So I would tag it with this, people wonder, what made us decide to do this? It was basically this. I realized, we were, contemplating whether we wanted to start adopting. I realized something. My wife is a very beautiful woman. Me, I'm an average-looking guy. But we have a lot of ugly relatives. And, I wasn't willing to take the chance.
That's funny,
dude.
No, we have. It's funny. I'll do that joke, and everyone reacts just the way you reacted. There is half a beat pause. Like, oh yeah, that's funny. Yeah.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
You do that trick. You do that.
6 very good-looking boys.
You do that joke at your family reunion. Yeah, I'm just doing my set, guys. This is my normal set.
Well, sometimes I'll tag it with this. I have great in-laws, but hey, I got jokes to do. So I'll tag it with this. Oh, yeah, my wife's a pretty blonde. I got to tell you, the first time we went out on a date, I met her parents. It was, you ever watch The Monsters?
Oh.
Bring home a boyfriend? Yeah, that was...
Aw. Poor
I
in-laws.
know, my in-laws don't like that joke as much.
Well, the first time I ever saw, I'm changing the subject totally now. The first time I ever saw you was on your penguin lecture. And I have the subscription to the penguin thing, so I see everybody.
By the way, for any non-magicians listening, I'm really into birds.
Penguin, yeah, well, it's a penguin lecture. So, yes, thank you, Doc.
Of course,
Thanks for helping.
Birds. Sorry.
No, you're 100% right. I told Doc before this that we have non-magician listeners and magician listeners. Penguin is a magic website that magician can go to and buy magic tricks, and they do little lectures where they teach magic and things. And Doc was hired to do one of these lectures, and sometimes it's well-known magicians, and in our industry, the top guys in the industry, and then other times it's people you never heard of. Well, Doc was somewhere in the middle. I'd heard of him, but I'd never seen him work. I'd never seen. I mean, this was.
That's what I shoot for.
This was seven. This was.
That's my goal.
But dude, and I tell people every time I go to a lecture, that's the ones a lot of times when you see, I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, huge names in magic that does a penguin lecture. They go there and they just kind of wave their hand and have an interview, and they don't show any magic. They don't talk about anything. They don't reveal any secrets. And you're just honored to have them in the room. And I'm like, man, that's not really a lecture. That's something different. I didn't pay for that.
It's like a showcase.
But you came out there, man, and you blew it away.
Oh, thank you.
Dude, he did something and he just blew it off. It's the Dixon drop. It's a trick that I created called the Dixon drop, and it's called that, but whatever. And and the method is this, but the stuff that he could do with this thing, he was making. I'm gonna tell Natalie. He cut the pack into 4 packs and would show you the card he cut to: the 6 of diamonds, 2 of clubs, 9 of clubs. Mm-hmm. Then he'd mix them up: 2 of diamonds, 6 of diamonds, 9 of clubs. Which one? No, they're all aces. He'd turn them over and all of them are aces. Oh, and he was doing this move. Well, he can do a cards across with that. He can do all these different things with it. And it was just one little move. I saw him at MAES that September. I don't know how far along do you remember how the distance between the penguin lecture and your MAES convention?
I think it was at least 2-3 years later.
Was it really?
It all blurs.
Well, I thought it was just a couple months later.
7 years ago, so.
I thought it was just a couple months later. But then you came out there.
May have been.
You did the Dixon drop, and you came out there, and you had your cup of coffee, and you were doing those lines, and I was laughing, and I was in awe of your work, man. You blew me away. And
great.
You said mediocrity, and I didn't know you. If you're a full-time magician and you're not on the cover of magic magazines, you're on the road all the time. You don't know all the other people. I only go to one I only go to one magic convention a year because I'm always working. So when I first got introduced to you, man, I was just blown away. I was like, whoa. But yeah, if you're a magician and you don't have Doc's penguin lecture or get his DVD, The Dixon Drop, I can't recommend it enough. It is fantastic. So, anything you want to say about that? I just wanted to.
I would disagree, but that would make me a rude guest.
Oh, there you go. No, man, it was fantastic.
It's funny. The origin of that move came from reading a routine in one of the Vernon Chronicles. I think it's in the second one, and Stephen Minch wrote it up, and it was essentially the same plot, similar in effect. You showed these packets, showed the face card or different cards, and you turned them over again, and they were all aces. And the plot of that I loved. Commercial plot. Hey, they're different. Bam, they're aces. But a couple of things I didn't. Well, actually, the biggest thing I didn't like about it is in the write-up itself. Minch says, if you do this, you can't have somebody on your left side. You are dead on your left side. So I'm doing this, and I read this, and I go, well, I don't perform at a lot of pirate conventions.
Yeah.
I wondered how that joke would go over.
No, yeah.
So I don't do that, but I just still like the plot, and this also relates back to what I talking about my wife earlier. So I'm just working and just throwing a bunch of stuff at it, just trying to get something going. And I wonder if this would work. And I did a rather rough version of that move, the Dixon drop, and then started to refine it a little. And the nature of the move, I guess you could almost say it's bold, or it's like when you see how it's done, you're like, oh no, you didn't, kind of thing to it. And so I showed it to my wife. I remember I was in my office downstairs. I said, honey, I want to show you this. And to me, that's a benchmark. If I can show her something and she doesn't see magic hands,
right,
that tells me I'm onto something. And she was the first person I go, no, I'm not seeing anything. So, yeah, that's where that started. I thought, well, I wonder what else I can do with this. And then a lot of the other applications for it, like the cards across, which is probably next to the ace cutting is my favorite one. I really like that, but I just like cards across in general. I think it's just one of those plots because you're treating cards like objects, like you would in a coins across, as opposed to a for their identities.
Right.
And I think there's something. This is too strong of a word, but visceral to that. It makes it that much more impossible. But yeah, but thanks for your kind words about it. It's a fun thing. And now with stuff on Zoom and everything is at least in my case has become a bit more table centric for performance because my Zoom shows are all seated for the most part. It's brought that around a little more.
Well, it's perfect. It's perfect for a Zoom show. I mean, it's 100% geared toward a Zoom show. I mean, you do it in all of your shows, but anyone doing Zoom shows right now needs to incorporate that trick. Yeah, I fell in love with it. I mean, I loved it, and that's how I knew you. I knew you, the guy that did the Dixon drop. And I only heard your name during that lecture, so I was like, the Dixon drop guy. That's the Dixon drop guy. That's how I remembered you when I first saw you at the convention. But I knew you were coming on, and I rewatched that lecture the other day, and knowing the move, having the DVD, taking 5 years away from it and reintroduced to it. I mean, I'm watching you, magic hands. I'm watching you. I'm burning you as a magician. I can't see it. It's flawless. It's beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. And I just want to say, it's some of it. Well, backtrack here. It's not because I'm kicking butt on some killer difficult sleight of hand, like one needs to execute a flawless bottom deal or second deal. It's just I think the way the move is constructed, there's just nothing to see.
And the choreography and everything, yeah. Yep. So anyway, it was awesome. Do you have anything? Do you have anything new in the works that I can get excited about?
Well, yeah. I mean, like all of us, in the performance world, not traveling as much, which is really weird. In that regard, is like with the shutdowns and all that, we all talking about well, okay, we missed the shows, but I've also found myself and other performers I've talked with have experienced this too. That you miss the life, all those things that went along with performing. Whether it was, if you're traveling alone, I'm going to catch up on 10 podcasts right now.
Yeah.
Things like that, or just I'm a big fan of Greasy Spoon restaurants.
Oh wow.
If I'm in a city for the first time, I ask the locals where's the place to go. I don't want to find something online. I just missing that stuff. But anyway, all that being said, I'll digress there. It's afforded me the time to write more, so I have several projects in the pipeline. probably give birth to whenever this begins to clear up. I mean, for all of us, think I think this is the time to get our ducks in a row. So when things open up, we're not, time to get ready to open up. No, we are. The seeds, you want to harvest, you plant the seeds months ahead of time. That sort of thing. So that's what I'm doing. So yeah, I got a few things, mostly writing related.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to see it. As soon as you get them, you let me know, and I can tweet them out or let my listeners know, hey, go get them now. Doc's released them. So
thank you. Yeah,
please let me know.
I will definitely do.
So as a Fool Us winner, any behind the scenes stories or experiences you want to share with us? I did a full episode on our venture there, even that, we had a day off before and after our performance that we could go explore the city, and we did. Took my girls around and did that, but that was rare. So how was your experience with the whole Fool Us thing?
Well, I went out in March of 2019. It just occurs to me, I don't know if my intro is true anymore, because my intro was, this is the smallest trick ever to appear on the Fool Us stage. I don't know.
Just a guy with a $50 might have been smaller.
Maybe, but the prediction was big. That's my only.
There.
I got a bit of a reach.
That's all right.
You should have put it on a 3x5 card.
Well, the other thing is, Penn says that I can't believe he came out here only with a $50. Dude, I brought like 45 $50 with me just in case I lost 44 of them. I mean, I was that paranoid because I don't know if I can get a $50 in Vegas.
Set of shells. I went out there. The trick I did involved cracking a walnut at the end, and I went out there with a 2-3 pound bag of walnuts. I was the size of a shoebox, however much that weighs, because I didn't want to have to rely on finding a store that sold walnuts.
Absolutely. Yep.
And so I'm going through the security, and they're in my carry-on, and guys like, I'm gonna have to look at those. And I don't know what it was. I mean, it was a bag of walnuts, but it delayed me about 20 minutes.
Yeah. Wow.
That was more than I did not expect that. That was a bit creepy. It's like, gee, and then, like you, blessed to be a fooler at the end of it, and it's a rather ecstatic feeling, because I know, I guess there's some guys that go into it thinking, okay, this is going to be a fooler. I didn't. I mean,
no.
Did you go into it with that way?
No, Natalie says stuff like she was confident of me and she knew I was going to win. But, man, no. And at some points, sometimes in my thinking about it, I was like, I have a 50-50 chance. They could say this or they could say that, or... I fooled when I took it to MAES and I showed all these big name magicians. I was fooling everybody. Everybody was thinking I was doing the old, the wobble. You probably know the wobble. That was in the 70s. Do you know the wobble?
Oh yeah, when it doesn't spin.
That everybody thought I was doing the wobble, or they thought I was doing, using my thumb to feel some weird. No. It's a different method. It's something I came up with. And when I was fooling people, and I have a close-up version as well that I do in restaurants, that I could do right under people's nose. And they're the secretary, and they make a prediction. So my prediction says you get them all right except number 3. And they get them all right except for number 3. The prediction's written on the back, and they're doing check marks as 1X. And, I mean, I was doing it in the hospitality suite underneath, anybody, name a big person, name a big celebrity in magic. So I was, in my back of my mind, I was like, I fooled those guys. That's what gave me the confidence to send it to the tape to them to begin with. But, I mean, who am I? They're older than me. They've been in the business longer than me. Whatever research I've done, Teller obviously could have done the same research or knows the same people that could have given the same idea. How do you know? I've tried to tell people in the past, talk to a doctor and say, hey, why haven't you cured cancer? The doctor that's going to cure cancer is doing the same research you're doing or has access to the same research. That's how it's like to fool Penn and Teller. How the heck do I know what's going to fool them or not? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think that I think what helps, and I won't just say with them, but I think in general, what helps fool magicians is one. In your case, it's a fair, though it's an easy to understand effect. You know, it is an obscure effect. I could probably cite in my head maybe two or three things in all magic literature that relate to it. There's and not specifically what you're doing. That's why you said relate to it. You know, so there's that. And I think that helps. I think also what helps, like in the case of what I did, I up until the ending of my trick, the trick was going along the standard path of that routine.
Yeah.
And then I won't go over anyone who's listening hasn't seen it can go to Doc Dixon, go to my website docdixon.com, and the routine is linked there. But when I turned over the other two shells and the P's not there, well now the whole thing just took a left turn when everyone had gone right.
Right. Yeah.
And so I think that helps, and also there's just no predicting it. I mean, I've seen stuff on there. There was a card guy on there and just doing just exquisite work, and he did not only did he not fool them, but Penn just basically cited chapter and verse for the routine.
Yeah.
You know what book it was based on, and these guys are stage magicians. So.
And sometimes, even though Penn and Teller can't recreate it or can't do that trick, they can just say, hey, it's along that, it's very Slidini-esque. That's it. And they're like, yeah, but there was extra twists and turns there. Yeah, but it was Slidini-esque. We know what you did. Okay.
Well, yeah. I mean, some of it is, some of it, I think at that point, the performer, and this was big in my head when I was there, it just goes to the fact that, okay, yes, this is not a competition with a show element. This is a show with a competition element.
Yeah.
One of the things I said to Mike, who's my close to magic consultant on it, I said, please, if I am busted, tell them to say this word. And it was, so I knew, because I'd heard stories through the grapevine
yes.
of people who've been on the show that totally muffed up that moment, who wouldn't own up to the fact that they didn't fool them. And so, then you have, okay, you're not on TV now.
Yep.
And it just, the whole thing is, and you have a rep amongst that as, not playing well with others,
yeah.
which no one wants.
Well, also they gave us a speech downstairs, and you probably got the same one that just said, you're among the best just being here. Be happy just to get this TV credit, and however it goes, it's not about fooling them. It's about having fun. Go out there and have some fun. And
it really is, and,
right?
One of my little personal credos in my life is don't be that guy.
Yep.
And it's about it's the show is the primary thing, not the competition aspect of it. It's fun. It was a very fun experience, very positive experience. I know with COVID and everything, you haven't had the chance to go back to be in the show yet, have you?
No. Tell me about that. I'm so excited. Tell me about that. How awesome was that?
It's swell. It's cool. The stage manager, I believe that's her title, is so gracious, all about taking care of you, and just so friendly. I mean, like the whole experience. Everyone's so kind. Penn says we have one of our foolers in the audience tonight. So monkey room,
Oh,
which what they call the monkey room, which is their lounge where they breed people and all that. Now, when I was there, I'm going to screw up the guy's name. He is like a heavy metal, slash metal, whatever you call it, icon. Darn it, I can't think of his name. But like a buddy of mine, I was back there with my wife Bethany and a very close friend Joe Crusillo, and Joe immediately knew who the guy was. Kerry King.
okay.
Kerry King is his name, and he goes by, pardon me, Kerry Bleeping King.
Okay.
And he's there, and it was just a real cool experience, just hanging and chatting. I will tell you though, at least for me, I can't speak for everyone else, it was very slightly anticlimactic.
Oh, no.
No, I don't mean it in a bad way. No. I mean, because the words, when Penn says, "You fooled us," whoa, what a rush.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that,
Yeah.
particularly, I can speak for myself, I did not expect to hear those words.
Yeah.
So, just really, just overjoyed and ecstatic afterwards. And so the experience, that was the reward.
Well,
Now, being in the show, awesomely cool, fun, and it's just a great show.
were they as warm and receptive to you during that performance as they were during the night of? Because when they do those taping of those shows, I mean, those audiences are on fire. They're ready to laugh and have fun. Were they like that on just a regular night of Penn and Teller as well?
Yeah, they were a great audience. I did the routine I did on the show with them. I didn't do it with them though, because you don't do Penn and Teller aren't on stage for that. I think they're getting ready to do the meet and greet afterwards. But I brought up, I asked someone to come up, couple to come up from the audience to play the roles of Penn and Teller. And I said to the guy, as a husband and wife, I said to the man, "You will be Teller," which means you understand what that means. And he said, "Yes, I do." And then I looked at him disapprovingly. And then I turned to the woman and I said, "And you'll be Penn, so your job is to be very tall and occasionally cuss on basic cable." And, did the routine, and, that was it. And then Penn comes out and he says, "You bleepity bleep, you fooled us."
Wow.
It's like you would expect from Penn, a very fun, affable, kind of thing. And he hands you the trophy, and you walk off stage.
Wow, that's great.
I don't know if they're going to handle that, exactly how they'll handle it this time. Frankly, I don't know if they handled that way previous to that. Is my one experience there, but
Well, the other
it was fun. When I say it was anticlimactic, I'm not saying it wasn't a whole lot of fun. It was, but the moment of winning it,
yeah, it's
it
hard to top that.
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
See, the night that I won, they gave me my trophy right when I got off stage. They took the one that falls. That only goes as far as the curtain, and then it gets hoisted back
that's
up.
what happened to me.
Okay. But then they gave me one that was in a box, and they said, "This is your trophy. We're sick of mailing them all over the world. They're getting broken in storage, and people aren't receiving them, so we're just going to give it to you." So now I've been in the dungeon in the basement hanging out with 5 other performers that night, all night long, and they know that I had nothing but a $50 and a cell phone in my pocket. I was, texting my wife and checking my email. So if I leave with this big box that's rectangular shaped, that's trophy sized, and I have to walk by the Starbucks where everybody's hanging out afterwards. So I had the production lady carry it to my hotel room, and, we walked, down the hall together. But I was scared because of that $250,000. If I say anything that I won, I didn't want to give off any hints or clues or anything that I won. I was scared to death.
Sure, yeah.
And then trying to get it home, I'm telling the ticket agents, "Hey, look, This is not a bomb. It's not anything. If I have to buy another seat for this, I am, but it's not going underneath the bus. It's not going underneath the airplane. It is getting a seat beside me.
Now, see, when I got mine there, I went over, this would have been September of 2019. I took it to FedEx.
Oh, they gave it to you there.
Yeah, they gave it to me there. Yeah,
oh, wow. Okay.
When I performed with them in the show. So you were much more discreet than I was, because after the show ends, of course, I didn't have a non-disclosure agreement anymore in force, because my episode had aired and I just performed in the show. So what I did was my lifelong goal to continually embarrass my wife. I took the trophy and I shoved it in the front of the bottom of the trophy in my pants like it was a rodeo belt buckle. And I'm walking around the casino that way, and I was like, "Stop it! Stop!" Like, no.
Heck, you earned that thing, man.
You
earned it. Daggone. My little girl gives me a hard time. I'll go in my room and I'll like pretend I'm wiping off dust, totally letting her see me. And she's like, "Dad, your head's getting way too big. I wish you'd have never won that thing. Your head's getting way too big, Dad." So she gives me a hard time.
My 9-year-old, well, he was 8 then. He says to me when I got the trophy, he goes, he's the sweetest little boy. He's very polite, very nice, smart kid. He says to me, "Daddy, can I have that when you're gone?"
Oh.
I'm like, my eyes are kind of big. I go, "Oh, you mean when Daddy goes on road trips? Stuff like that?" And my wife's standing behind her. She starts shaking her head. And he says, "No." All of a sudden, he's like, he's Children of the Corn. Terrifying. I have it behind me. It's on my video set when I do Zoom shows.
Yeah.
And I have it up there kind of, yes, and like if I'm doing a more family-oriented event, I take it down because, the trophy has a big FU on it.
Right.
And I don't want to have to explain that, for these family shows. I mean, I'll explain it for the adult shows, but I don't want to put that. What would you? Yeah, I just picture some parent going, "Barb, what is that back there?"
Oh, wow. Yeah. No, I wouldn't take it down. I'd let them ask the question and make them feel bad. What? It means fool us. What are you thinking? That's how I'd do. How dare you? What are you thinking? So what was the biggest change when you came home? I mean, did you notice a big change to your career? Was it a big uptake? Was it, I had emails. My phone was literally hot from phone calls and emails and people congratulating me. 33 hours?
I don't know.
I think I was up because I was answering phone calls and talking to friends and replying to tweets and emails and things. My wife was like, "Go to bed. This is ridiculous."
Yeah, he was obsessed with it. He needed to take a break. I'm like, "Honey, it's going on 24 hours now. I think people will understand if you take a nap."
But Chris, if you sent me a text that said, "Hey, congratulations, man. I'm proud of you." I didn't want to just put a heart or a like. I'm going to say, "Thank you, Doc. That means the world to me. Hey, you're a fool or two. Thank you." And I was trying to reply to all of them. But I won during a pandemic, so I didn't.
Blew up for a couple days, yeah. And it's just, the part. And I don't mean to sound a little sappy here, but the part that really hit me hard in a really good way is to realize how many of my friends that happening made them so happy. And that's a humbling feeling. They were, not just congrats, but, a couple of friends, there were several telling me, I teared up.
Right.
To have friends that are so invested in your success is it's just a real blessing. That's a really humbling feeling, and that was a big highlight of it. And then and I'm sure you had this too. The people that are perhaps better known in the magic community,
mm-hmm.
and who just weren't aware of your work.
Yeah.
And they see that, and it's just they go out of their way to extend congratulations and compliments. That's I'm trying to think of the word. It's just escaping me right now, but it's not vindicating. That's a bit dark for this, but it's validating.
Yeah. Yeah. No, 100%. Yeah.
It's a nice feel. I mean, not that making a living at this and providing the family with 3 hots and a cot isn't validating in a far more serious way. It's validating in an artistic way, in a fraternal way. It's cool. And then the nice thing is it's validating it can be validating in a business way.
Right.
I've had several prospects that were new to me, but that intro opened doors. That otherwise, I maybe could have still opened, but would have been a little squeakier. Would have been a few more doors involved, and so it was nice.
Well, that's what we're hoping will happen once we get past this COVID.
And I'm sure it will. I don't think that I'm going to look at my actually, I don't have a crystal ball. I have a bowling ball that I stare at. Because I don't know. I mean, I remember when this first started, I was thinking, this will be wrapped up in June or July.
Right.
Blah, blah.
Right.
So I don't try to predict anything, but I don't know, hopeful expectation sort of thing. I think that it's like pulling back on a bow and arrow set. You pull back on that string, it builds up tension, and I'm hoping that as this goes on, I can already see signs of it. I think societally, outside of entertainment, the tension is increasing, and in a positive way. Thank you, vaccine. Thank you, all of that. Boom.
Yeah, people are ready. People want to go back to normalcy.
Really, whatever flavor of that is going to be. I mean, also just, I don't think we can continue this way. And by we, I mean economically. I mean, restaurants still exist. I've been on a few movie sets, TV sets since this has gone down, and I'm in just south of Atlanta. I'm kind of in redneck Hollywood. A lot of TV and movie are filmed down here, and I did a magic consultant gig on a show, and just about a month or so ago, and they're still making entertainment. I mean, everybody's COVIDed up,
Right.
or what I mean, masked, and when I had to teach a guy how to vanish a pen, the actor how to vanish a pen. Great, very funny. Did a great job with it, but showed him how to do it, and I'd have to have a mask on and also one of those face visors on and all of that. But yeah, I hopefully, I don't know. I mean, dial up an expert. Different opinions left and right. So I got a lot of hopefulness for it.
Well, I know when we were doing our big illusion shows before COVID, we were telling people, don't wait. We were making it more expensive to buy tickets at the door. Buy your ticket now. I'm going to punish you if you wait till the door. Because I told people, I said, even your own mother will tell you she'll be there, and then something comes up. Oh, my ankle kind of didn't feel that great that night, so I changed my mind. But if they buy their tickets ahead of time, they're going to be there. It's amazing how that happens. They could have a broken ankle and they show up because they've already paid that money. I think after COVID, I think that's going to be different because people are dying to go out to the movie theaters. They're dying to go out to a live show. And I think those ticket sales are going to be a lot. I mean, crystal ball, like you said, but that's just my gut feeling. People are sick of being at the house. They're ready for an adventure. They're ready to try something new.
The experience of live entertainment, I mean, okay, this isn't live entertainment, but I still think this is a valid comparison. I think it would have been back in 1997, 98, whenever the Beavis and Butthead
I saw a couple episodes, but I didn't go to the opening premiere.
In the movie, when Beavis turns into, when the character he gets real caffeinated up and he becomes this character Cornholio, and the catchphrase is, "I am Cornholio." Okay, if you've not seen the movie, this will mean nothing. But on a plane, I will never forget this feeling. The entire theater. I mean, it's not even a live performance. It's just we're all gathered together as an audience watching this on the screen.
Right.
And this is at the height of the Beavis and Butthead social phenomenon fame. This theater went nuts. You would have thought Elvis walked into the room on a nuclear-powered jet ski or something.
Wow.
It was great. It was wonderfully, just the energy of it all. And my point is, you don't get that feeling sitting at home.
No.
No, I think it's, in a theater, the audience, it's funny to see because you can see it when you're out watching a show where one person claps, but if nobody else claps, they kind of look around and they stop, like, whoops, maybe I wasn't supposed to clap then. And so it's the audience feeds off itself, and then for live shows, the performers feed off the audience, and you can't get that over Zoom. It's just not the same. So, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not going to, I will differ a little. You can get it, but yeah, you can't get it as much.
Yeah.
I know the big game changer for me on Zoom shows, a big part of my show experience is the show is me interacting with the spectators. So the interactive nature of Zoom is very important to me. I know some have done shows on Facebook Live where people respond with comments, all that. I couldn't handle that's not my thing. So when I discovered on Zoom, it was a feature, actually just fairly recent, a few months back, where on Zoom you can do a thing where you spotlight yourself, where basically you become the main screen for everyone. As the host of the meeting, you can also spot yourself and now someone else,
Right.
someone in the audience. So when I had that ability to do that, then, I was now able to do the show, do what I consider to be the show, that is the entertaining reaction between me and the other person. I'll give you an example. I don't know how funny this will be out of context describing it, but I'm doing a routine where I ask someone to name a number. Now, early on, there's a business meeting. Early on in the business meeting, before I came on, they were talking about hobbies, and this guy said he collected hats. So I said to the guy, I go, now tell me, you collect hats. Okay, I need you to name a number, any number you want, your ideal hat number collection. How many hats do you have? And a young guy says, 200 hats. I go, now tell me, I'm also wondering this. You got these 200 hats. Okay, someone comes over to your home. Are they on mannequin heads or are they just on the shelf? And the guy says, just on the shelf. I'm like, that's good. Because, if someone sees that many disembodied heads in your house, it's really going to impact your social life in a bad way to make people feel comfortable. Okay. Kids a big laugh, in the context of the whole thing. So having that, it's not the in-person thing.
Right.
But I think it depends what you compare it to. It's not the in-person show, yeah. But you know what? It's also not an Amazon, Hulu, or a Netflix show that doesn't know you're there.
Right. No, absolutely. Talking about Penguin earlier, Penguin used to do a live tweet thing where you could tweet questions and ask questions during the thing. They stopped doing that. And just having that taking out of the lecture makes it different. Now I don't have to be there on Sundays to watch it, because if I have a question, I can't ask the performer, so I'm not in a hurry to watch it. Yeah, just every little aspect you gain or lose changes the dynamics of the show tremendously.
And I think in a kind of like a really draw back, big picture kind of way, I think that's kind of one of the sadder things that's happened just societally, and that there's very few things where we all do together communally. I'm getting really deep here, so put on your hip waders. When I was a kid, I can vaguely remember watching the Ed Sullivan Show, and the Ed Sullivan Show was a show where you'd have puppets, you'd have a magician, you'd have a rock singer, you'd have an opera, you'd have a comic. This whole thing, and the whole family would watch it together. Now, each of those acts had their own cable channel. And now, each of those have their own, that's delineated down more to where they have their own, little YouTube channel. So I just miss that communal vibe. And live performance is a step back in that direction. So anyway, thank you for tolerating my...
No, I totally get it. I mean, everybody used to come to school and talk about, did you see Beavis and Butthead the other night? And it's not that way anymore. Natalie and I, for Christmas, we just got Game of Thrones because we didn't want to watch it during our busy season and get behind and then try to catch up and all that stuff. We'll just wait for the DVD. Now we waited for the whole thing to end. Everybody says it's good. Everybody says the ending was fine. Everything was great. Now we'll start and we'll just watch a DVD on our time. So...
Have you done the Cobra Kai thing yet?
Oh, we're in love with it, but my little girl went away for a week to the in-laws, and we're waiting on season 3. We're waiting. I saw that you posted some stuff on social media about broken tables. That was funny, but no, I haven't done season 3 yet.
Yeah, everybody knows karate. I mean, this is not a spoiler.
No, but the whole town, everybody knows karate.
Everyone in the valley, that's what I call it, the valley, knows karate, and you're watching a fight scene. It says like Siskel and Ebert used to have this thing. They talk about anytime there's a car chase in a movie. Okay, we're just waiting for the fruit vendor to get hit.
Right.
The produce cart. When's somebody going to run into that? And invariably, it happens in so many movies. That's like this cinematic cliche in this thing. When's somebody going to be slammed on a coffee table? Like a glass coffee table, it has a very short lifespan in the valley.
That's funny. I can't wait. It's good though. Season 3 is awesome.
It's not the deep. It's far from the deepest thing you ever watched. Oh, but it is decadent, good, clean fun.
Awesome.
Well,
we did a pre-interview yesterday, and you were talking about Cornholio getting caffeinated up, and you're the most caffeinated person I know, but I know there's method behind the madness, but every time I see you have a cup of coffee in your hand and you're stopping to take these deliberate pauses and take a sip. And, I remember, I don't remember where I heard it, but I remember because I do county fairs and people say, oh, you shouldn't stop your show ever to take a sip of water. But it's 100 degrees outside. I'm taking a sip of water while the person's coming up out of the audience or something. And I always try to hide it. But you have it as like, it's just your little thing you have on stage. You drink your cup of coffee. But tell me the George Burns story and where that's in relation. I think it's awesome. And we only have like 4 more minutes left. So.
Oh, okay. Sure. The coffee on stage, like for adult shows, clubs or banquets and that, kind of came from a couple of angles. One, in the 90s, worked a lot of comedy clubs. Guys walking on with a beer. 2, being a fan of the Rat Pack, Dean Martin always walking on with a drink. That drink often had apple juice in it. Didn't matter. It was part of the persona. And George Burns with the cigar, the cigars he smoked, George Burns, very rich, would smoke expensive cigars. He smoked El Productos, which are a cheap machine-made cigar, but he smoked those on stage because they were the most reliable to stay lit. And he talked about that when he would take a draw on the cigar and the end of the cigar would get red, it was somewhat Pavlovian with the audience. Tell the joke. Take a drag on a cigar. They see the red light. They laugh. For me, one additional thing with the coffee is that I think seeing that if you're driving in a car with someone or someone else is driving and you're tired, if they're a bad driver, you're not going to take a nap. You just can't. You're too anxious.
Right.
But if you're confident in them and they are confident in their driving, well, okay, you're tired, take a nap. I think the coffee projects that. I mean, in essence, listen, people, I've done this so many times. I'm just going to sip my coffee here, and we're going to have a great time.
I think it does. I 100% think it.
It's kind of the subtext of it.
No, I love it. I love it. Dude, you're the best.
I don't do it, make clear, I don't do it during shows like a family audience with kids. It just wouldn't look right. It would look a little self-indulgent, I think, at that point. In fact, I should do, instead, I should have an ice cream cone.
No. But but you know, I didn't know it was motivational. But then I started watching your video, and I watched your lecture again, and I remembered back. And you always had a cup of coffee at the MAES and during the Penguin lecture, and the way you took breaks and took a sip, it was very relevant to George Burns. You know, tagging a punchline, but it looked so casual and so on purpose. That's why I asked, because dude, it's awesome.
You can't give me time to think, too. Someone just said something. Thinking, sip, thinking. That's it. You don't know what I'm going to say.
That's awesome. Well, dude, we went a pre-interview yesterday about an hour, and we were talking about funny show stories, disaster stories. We had so much other to cover, but we're out of time, man. Thank you so much. Thank you for doing this with us.
Thank you, fellow Fuller.
There you go, man.
Fellow Mrs. Fuller.
Oh, thanks.
DocDixon.com. Check him out. Check out his. If you haven't seen his Fool Us appearance, it is awesome. And the confidence level he has at the end, he doesn't look like he's wavered at all. He doesn't have a care in the world. Awesome. Awesome.
You're one to talk. You were like the absolute cowboy gunfighter on Fool Us.
Yeah, well, that was just
After
coincidence.
you won, they should have went, come on. Hey, one quick thing. For magicians, go to DixonMagic.com.
There you go.
That's where my stuff for magicians is.
Awesome. Facebook, Doc Dixon. Twitter, Doc Dixon. Doc, stay on the line, man. Thank you for everything. I just got a couple plugs real quick. Stay on the line, man. I'll be right back. On January 22nd at 7 p.m., we'll be doing our full evening Magic and Illusion show, live on stage, but zoomed into the comfort of your living room. This is a fundraiser show for a couple different elementary schools, and the proceeds will truly help them out. For ticket information, please check out my events page at wesisley.com. And all 16 episodes of Wes Iseli's Magiclife Season 1 are available on Jewel TV, the Jewel TV app. Also, we just got message that it's on YouTube. Season 1 is on YouTube, absolutely free, until Season 2 debuts in February. So check it out, Wes Iseli's Magiclife. See you next week. Today's episode of the podcast is sponsored by Express Copy and Graphics. Mention promo code Wes Iseli to get 10% off. Their website is expresscopy.com. That's XPRESS-COPY.com. They do it all. Copies, banners, signs, vehicle wraps, promo items, practically anything you need printed, they can do it for you. These guys are great. Check them out. Check us out online at wesisley.com and patreon.com/Wes_Isley for behind-the-scenes videos, blooper videos, never-before-seen footage, discounts on merchandise, magic trick tutorials, and more. That's Wes Iseli, spelled WESISELI.